you know, you are there in Ferguson. What's your experience there? What has it been so far?
Well, you know, I've got a chance to talk to some of the people who are the leaders, the young activists, not the ones who you see doing all the screaming and the yelling sometimes, but the people who are literally 2 blocks from here who are meeting tonight, they're strategizing. These are very sophisticated, smart young people. They understand that this over-incarceration of their generation is holding them back from getting the jobs they want, the education that they want. And when Holder comes here tomorrow, if he's willing to meet with these young people, he's going to hear a very, very wise, reasoned argument for both why policing has to change in America, but also why opportunity has to change for these young people. This has become, I think, a defining moment for a generation. Look, in 1992, when the Rodney King thing happened, I was a young guy. That changed my whole relationship to my country for 10 years because I was afraid maybe America was not on my side if I had black skin. We should not let these young people go through that kind of estrangement. There's a moment here now, as things have gotten peaceful, where we can reach out to this generation and listen to what they want. They want black lives to matter. They want to be able to go to school. They want to be able to get a job. They want the cops to be on their side. The stuff they're asking for is just liberty and justice for all. If we can get past some of the theatrics and listen to what these young people want, I think America will be proud of these young people, proud to stand with these young people, and proud to give them a better shot in this country.
Okay, Van, I want to talk to you a little bit more about Eric Holder. You mentioned him because he will be in Ferguson tomorrow. He's published an op-ed in the St. Louis paper with a message to the people of Ferguson. And I won't read it, because it's quite a long message here. But what do you think Eric Holder and other officials can do to fix this?
I think there are 2 issues here. One has to do with a specific case. I think until this officer is charged and given a chance to present his case to a jury of his peers, I think people are going to feel that there's a double standard. There's no unarmed person in America can be shot 6 times, including once in the head, and then nobody goes to trial. So I think that has to happen. That is a specific case. But the general case of the sense that if you're a young African American, if you're a young Latino, if you're a young person of color, that you're kind of guilty until proven innocent, not innocent until proven guilty. That has to be addressed. And one of the things I'm very interested in is this whole idea of cognitive bias. We have come to a point, and you've said this so many times, Don, where in our conscious mind, everybody's with Dr. King. Nobody consciously anymore wants to be a racist. You have very few people who feel that way, and they're going away. They're graying out. But what is being shown now by the science, Don, is that it's our subconscious minds where when you put the wires on people's head and show them a picture of a black youth, even people who don't want to be racist still have that fearful reaction, including some African Americans. And until we can have that deeper conversation, not about willful racism, but that subconscious, unconscious bias, I think we're going to have these kind of scenes play out over